Well, last week, G7 leaders and NATO nations, including President Biden, declared that they would stand up against Russia. But what impact does this have on their own countries? Well, joining us now is our political analyst and professor at Curtin University, Joe Siracusa. Good morning to you, Joe. So what impact does it have?
Well, I think it has an adverse impact. I mean, this is a conference that I think should have been postponed, and maybe Biden should have stayed away from this one while there was a war raging in Ukraine. Look, the president is engaged in a proxy war with Russia, which is going to boil over probably in the next 3 to 6 months. And I feel that he has left his successor with a war in Ukraine. The president knows that he's not going to be there in 2024. He knows that President Putin will be there in 2024, and it's only a matter of time before the heartland in America rebels against the bankrolling Ukraine, which is going down the tubes at the expense of the American economy. I've seen this story 100 times. Pete, 275 years ago from today, John Adams told the Continental Congress to avoid entangling alliances. He says they get you in all kinds of wars you don't want to get in, and you know, the idea of turning Europe into a garrison to scare the Russians away. You know, I've been a big student of NATO all my life, and NATO only had one job, Pete, and the job was to keep the Russians, or the Soviets first, and the Russians at bay. And it did a pretty good job up until 1991, and it's failed miserably since that time. So I think this thing is going to go in a very bad direction in the years ahead.